Good afternoon, Jocelyn. Always the first one to.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Let me plug this cable because okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Javier, come here.
Hi, Professor.
Hello, mister.
Hey there. Hello. Happy Friday for you. Restful weekend. Let's see if we can have more of your classmates to arrive.
¿Qué pasó, bebecito?
So we're going to close up. We're going to close the.
Te dije que hicieras pipí en la pelera, que yo te iba a sacar el pañal, que me dijeras.
Sí, a vos no te aviso.
A ver, son mergas.
Ok. No, déjate. Por la silla. Listo. Corriendo.
Ay, tengo mucho frío.
Si hay para meter un pantalón, mate una papita.
¿Qué es el completo?
Vamos.
¿Quieres completo?
Professor, your microphone is off.
Thank you so much for. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. So what I was saying is that today we're closing the sonnets as a topic because next week we're moving on to Shakespearean or Elizabethan theater in general. And we're going to spend a little bit more time next week exploring not only plays but also the context in which the different plays were written, and also the aspects that each play developed in terms of exploring the society and showing to the audience, because originally plays are going to, they are for people who are attending them in theaters, and they are not meant to be read, even though sometimes we get to read the play. Not only about the acting of the characters, but also the descriptions made. We learned through the literary work about the society itself. So that's also going to be part of the context when we deal with Shakespearean plays, which was not when we were dealing with sonnets, right? Because for sonnets, we dealt only with the structure in general, right? The main topics, the rhyme scheme, so more or less a formal analysis. And that's going to be actually one of the questions. So we have the definition, what you understand by a sonnet, what is iambic pentameter, what you remember, what's a rhyming pattern, and if you could paraphrase one of the sonnets given there in number 4. Any of them, you don't have to take them, you take them all, right? And you just need to pick one. When I mean paraphrase sonnets, I mean that you explain the sonnets in your own words. Say you're using contemporary language, and you're trying to explain the what the sonnet is about to peers or even to young people. Okay, so how you paraphrase these in a more modern language. Okay, so take a moment to review the questions and let me know which one do you feel more comfortable with answering. Okay. Gosh, sorry. So again, what I want you to do is I want you to choose one, and then you're going to be assigned some time to develop an answer, all right? So Javier is going to go with number 3, okay? It's okay if you repeat the options, right? Number 3 for Javier. Camila Quesada, or anyone who's already ready to decide. Camila, do you have a favorite one?
Yes, the first one.
Excellent. Alrighty, and Carla Vendaño, which one would you like to pick?
Maybe number 2.
Okay. I insist it's already if it's a good if you repeat them, right? That's totally fine. Grace, which one would you like to choose?
Professor, I can't see anything. My internet is not working well.
Okay. Do you get messages in the chat box?
Yes.
Okay. So that could work. So I'm going to copy and paste them in the chat box for you to have access to. There we go. Okay, Maria Ignacia, which one would you like to choose?
Number 2.
Perfect, number 2. Thank you. Jocelyn, would you like to pick one now?
Number 1.
Okay, number 1. Catherine?
Number 1, Professor.
Okay, number 1. Is anyone here who has not chosen or has not been assigned one? Okay, so take 2 minutes to elaborate an answer, and in the next 2 minutes, we start reviewing your answers, right? For those of you who chose the same one, you can complement each other, so you can address the question at the same time, like sort of a team, okay? All right, 2 minutes. All right, guys, you ready? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. I need more time. None of the above.
Yes,
Okay, excellent.
I think so.
You think so, all right? I completely trust you, trust your judgment. So let's approach the first one, and the team that's going to take over number one, please, anytime, provide your answer, please.
Okay. The first one is, what is a sonnet? And a sonnet is a 14-line poem, which is divided in stanzas. Don't know what if they are going to add something.
Yes, the stanzas are the paragraphs in poetry, and these stanzas or these paragraphs have four lines each one, and the final one only has two lines. And we use an iambic pentameter to read the sonnet.
All right. Anything else that you would like to add? Is that all?
Mm,
Yeah, I don't know if Catherine is going to add something.
I don't know what else to add. I think that you say everything. Maybe that it's kind of like the quatrains are. The first one is telling us kind of the topic, and then the story kind of develop in the second one, and in the third one it's a counter argument, to say it in some way, to finish, to conclude in the couplet.
All righty, thank you so much. Yeah, that was missing about the structure. Yeah, we can know that the Shakespearean sonnet is composed of 3 quatrains and a couplet, but then what was part or what was contained in each one of the quatrains, I think that was a connection that was missing. Thank you so much. I think the only missing thing could have been the rhyme scheme present in the Shakespearean sonnet, but that's a detail, right? Let's take a look at number 2. What is iambic pentameter? Because it was mentioned here.
Oh.
We have two members, right?
Yes.
2 participants. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so an iambic pentameter. Pentameter is a type of metric line. It is referred to the rhythm of the sonnet or the poetry, and in which an unstressed syllable is followed by a stressed syllable, and it is like in a line. That line contains 10 syllables and 5 iambs for each line. That is what I remember.
I would add that, well, first we have to define that every time we have the suffix penta, it means 5. So pentameter and iambic, yes, no, that's how you say it, like iambic pentameter, no,
Iambic. Yes.
iambic pentameter has 5 set of sounds, set of stressed syllables and non-stressed syllables. This could be like a long syllable or just a set of five five. I don't know how to say, like 5 stressed syllables and unstressed syllables together, and that's how it is composed by 5 sets of syllables. A stress, like for instance, release. I don't know what else to say. Like English goes well with this type of rhyming because of the of how we stress syllables, and it is easier to rhyme in English than in another. I don't know if not. I don't know about other languages, but I know for sure it's easier to rhyme in English than in Spanish. So if we translate the sonnets, wouldn't be the same.
Right. Yeah, but I think you can rhyme. I mean, I know people who can rhyme a lot by singing, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm saying that rhyming in English is easier than rhyming in Spanish because of the stresses the syllables has, and that you can say more with less words in English. So it applies that I am I'm sorry, I am a pentameter better because you can say more
Right.
with the syllables. You can communicate more in English than in Spanish because you need more wording.
Right. So I've heard. So I've heard. Exactly. I mean, you got it all in your answer. Just to clarify that the foot is a literary device, and when we measure poetry, it's kind of a unit made of a stressed and an unstressed syllable. So when you put together a stressed and then a stressed syllable, you get a foot. And as you were saying, if you get 5 feet, that combination of feet makes the meter, what we call in Spanish la métrica de la poesía. So combine feet, in this case 5 feet, and you get this pentameter. So yeah, you can combine less, you can combine more, but the point is that you can combine several feet, and each one is a combination of 2 syllables, which one is stressed and the other one unstressed. And exactly. And there are many. I am, and I am is unstressed followed by a stressed syllable, right? Shall I compare? Shall I is the second syllable. Compare the second syllable stressed.
One day.
Right. Right. Now there are others that other feet, right? That is the opposite. It's an accented syllable first, and followed by an unaccented syllable. And that metrical foot is called trochee. It's not called I am, but we're not going to get confused with this, okay? Because sometimes in a foot you can combine, for example, okay, in the I am it's unstressed followed by stressed, but there are others, right, that are like the trochee, and it's the other way around. It's stressed followed by an unstressed. Or
shall
in a
I? No.
It's like, yeah, shall I compare? Right, exactly. I mean, we're forcing, right, this, but that would be the, for example, tiger. This is by William Blake. Tiger, burning bright. Tiger, burning bright. Tiger is the first syllable stressed, the second one unstressed. Tiger, burning, the first syllable. Right, so that would be a trochee. And so there are many different metrical feet. Sometimes you get 2 unaccented or unstressed followed by a stressed, and that would be the 3 different beats, right? would also consist on food, but we're not getting into getting deeper into this, all right? Because the idea is to have a clear understanding about what Shakespearean sonnet is. Thank you so much. Shall we take number 3? There's only one volunteer who is drumming.
Mr. Here, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Go on.
Yes. Well, the most common pattern that I was able to see, as I read a couple of the sonnets, Shakespearean sonnets, is the iambic. It's an iambic parameter of 3 quartets and 2 rimming and a rimming couplet at the end. That is the iambic pattern that you presented us earlier in the course. That is AB, AB. Ahí déjame. AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, and GG, giving the numbers to the rhythmic stanzas that are inside the Shakespearean sonnet. Well, I was unable to find another pattern on that, but I was able to find a poem that Shakespeare wrote as a gift to a count, I think, and he uses a different pattern, which is a 7-line paragraph, where he, I can't remember the pattern of that one. Which is A B A B A B is that A B A B B C C, which is a 7 stanza paragraph. I don't know if this one is an iambic pattern, but it was different from the sonnets.
Right. Well, in order to know that, you will have to count the lines. You will have to count the different syllables. And if you get 10, and if you get the second one stressed, you will have that sonnet written in iambic pentameter. Excellent answer. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I insist on this. Sir. No, thank you, Javier. So I insist on this. This is a structure, and we're dealing with Shakespearean sonnets, right? This Shakespearean sonnets has a specific structure that was used at the time Shakespeare lived by him and by other poets who would write sonnets, right? Sonneteers. That was the technical name used for poets writing and using this type of structure. Now, this comes from Italy, from Petrarch, and Petrarch had a different structure for his sonnets, right? In general, the sonnet had the idea of, as an aim, talking about a very profound things, right? To communicate a message to the audience that had to do with a very spiritual aspects or topics that were universal, so that everyone could feel connected with the topics dealt with, right? So they weren't about only a specific experience or one moment in the poet's life. So it was something that it was more that people could feel related to. So in this case, we talk about Shakespearean sonnets or the English sonnet. We talk about the Petrarchan sonnets or the type of sonnets written in Italy, and the Spenserian sonnets written by Spenser. We talked about quatrain, right? As a stanza made up of 4 lines. In the Shakespearean sonnet, we discussed, right, that in the first one, the topic itself was stated, or at least we knew as readers which direction was the poem, the sonnet taken. What was the purpose, or what was the poet trying to teach, portray, or show us in the sonnet, right? Now, there's also another concept, which is octave, right? And the octave is an 8-line stanza. So it's basically the combination of the first quatrain and the second quatrain, right, which make up an octave. So if you combine the two quatrains to make an octave, right, the remaining is 6 lines, right, which is the technical name for that is a sestet. Okay, so in this Italian sonnet, right, or Petrarchan sonnet, the ideas, structurally speaking, were developed in the octave. So in the first 8 lines, right, the purpose was stated. So what we see now in the analysis of the Shakespearean sonnet is like we divide the lines, the 14 lines, into 4 and 4, right, at the beginning. The first 4 stating the main concept explored or developed by the poet, and the second quatrain to explore a little bit deeper, or one that adds additional information supporting the topic is already stated in the first quatrain. So the Petrarchan or Italian sonnet takes the first 8 lines to develop the idea, and the last 6, right, to give this twist and to solve the problem proposed by the poet, or the topic explored by the poet in the first 8. That would be the difference, structurally speaking, between a Shakespearean sonnet and a Petrarchan sonnet, or if you wish, an English sonnet and an Italian one. Okay, still, the Italian sonnet would use this 10-syllable line, right? So if we have 10 syllables and we can divide them into a foot, right? We have the same pattern of unstressed and a stressed syllable in 1 foot. Remember, that's 1 foot, an unstressed and a stressed syllable in the case of this Shakespearean sonnet, right? So this sestet is another technical word that we might add to our vocabulary, particularly when we are analyzing or discussing a Petrarchan sonnet, which has a different structure. And the structure might not be perceived. You may not see the division in terms of line, but if you see that the poet was written by Petrarch, or if you read a sonnet that you know was written by an Italian poet at the time, you may see and pay attention to the first 8 lines. You will see the problem stated, how it's developed, and you will see the solution, or how the problem is addressed, or a twist towards this, how the situation was presented in the first 8 in the sestet, all right? Volta, an Italian term, it's the turn or the twist, right? So from posing the question to addressing the solution. And this comes, most of the times, this volta or turn comes in the couplet in the Shakespearean sonnet, right? Whereas in the Petrarchan or Italian sonnet, it starts being developed in the sestet. So in the last 6 lines, the poet is addressing how this situation might be solved, or is basically showing us a different perspective to understand the problem and to find a solution. A solution such as how to preserve the mistress or the lover's beauty from death, like, you know, one of the Shakespearean sonnets, or how to address and provide the best description to be fair with nature, and at the same time appraise the beauty of the beloved one. So this in the Shakespearean sonnets, right, come I would say not in the last quatrain, but in the last 2 lines or a couplet. So they have less time to develop this solution. So the twist has just 2 lines. So this octave and sextet, remember octave refers to 8, sestet refers to 6, the last 6 lines, right? And they have a very interesting rhyming scheme or rhyming pattern. As you can see, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, a different structure, in the Italian sonnet, right? And there's a lot of diversity in terms of the rhyme scheme for the sestet. C, D, E, C, D, E, C, D, C, D, C, D. So if you pay attention to the rhyme structure, whenever you see one of these poems, right, you may understand the rhyming pattern found in this type of sonnet, right? So a little bit more about this. An octave typically presents a narrative or states the proposition, right? Or is actually makes us understand what's the poet trying to state here. And the sestet, right? It's as I mentioned before, solving the problem or referring to the possible interpretation that the poet wants us to arrive to. Okay. And coming back home, 3 quatrains in the Shakespearean sonnets, right? Javier also already referred to the rhyme scheme or rhyming pattern. Okay, I think he mentioned A B A B, C D C D, F G. Sorry, E F E F, G G. Right? And GG would be the last 2 lines, the couplet. So going back to the okay, here is a structure of a Petrarchan or Italian sonnet, right? The turn right here, and the sextet showing us how we can arrive to a solution for the problem posed by the poet. And here is the structure for Shakespearean English. So my question was in the first slide, what is a sonnet, right? And whenever you refer to it, you have to remember that there are different types of sonnets, right? That the Shakespearean sonnets are an adaptation of the Italian ones. The Shakespearean sonnet was borrowed from the Petrarchan sonnet or Italian sonnet, and so structurally they are different. In general, the main topics, the main issues addressed are quite similar because in general, they are a vehicle to express the love for someone or the affection, right? But structurally, they are different. Remember that at this time, the poet or the writer would have to fit these classical structures, right? So if you were writing a work, you would have to fit into this convention, right? Your literary work would need to sound and look like they were traditionally written in order to be respected. Now, the liberty or the freedom for writers to explore, right, other types of structure or to challenge, right, the conventions of literature came later, right? Not in these times. In general, authors now dare to defy or challenge the conventions, but and writers do not care because they are just exploring other ways to express emotions. But in these times, it was highly important to, if you were to be recognized, right, by society as a prestigious writer, you would have to sound like you were expected to. So your literary work should look like the other ones. Okay. So my first question was, what is a sonnet? Okay. What is an iambic pentameter? Now, if you refer to the structure in number 1, you would have to be very clear that you refer to the English sonnet or the Shakespearean sonnet. Okay, because there are other types of sonnets. The iambic pentameter was used in, I would say, all of them, but the rhyming pattern is specifically for the Shakespearean sonnet because that's what I wrote here. Okay. So I'm sorry for such a boring and long talk, but I think it was a little bit necessary to clarify the differences between sonnets. Let's see. Do you mind if I send you an invitation to, or if we do it here? Let's see. Okay, let's try. Okay, I'm going to put here in the chat box to Zoom meeting. Please accept the invitation. Go to the meeting using Zoom, because we're going to do an activity that you have to work in pairs, right? So let me double check. You are 8 members, 8 participants. Let's see, hopefully, that the 8 of you arrive to Zoom, okay? So I'll see you there, because we need to talk for this, you need to have a one-to-one conversation, right? So I'll see you there in Zoom. Please accept the invitation. I'll see you there, all right?